Good evening. Oh, here we go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight to 2016 Jazz Night here at Cleveland Heights High School. Tonight, you're going to hear two jazz bands, two of our big bands. You'll be able to hear our jazz combos next Wednesday at Nighttown, but tonight we'll feature our big bands. My name is Ben Ammon. I'm one of the two directors here at Cleveland Heights High School. And behind you, you have our Jazz Ensemble 108. We changed the room numbers. It used to be the small room and the big room. Now it's 108 and 109 on the room numbers. But this is Jazz Ensemble 108. Our first tune was Just Fine. That's the title. And it sounded really good. It was by, we have three soloists. We have Corinne Nickel on alto saxophone, Tavian Holland on trombone, and Michael Moore on trumpet. Let's give them a round of applause. Our next tune is going to be entitled "A Good Night in New Orleans," and it's going to feature our guest artist of tonight. So let's, without further ado, welcome Professor Jack Schantz. He's on the faculty at University of Akron, and is one of the jazz professors down there, and is a trumpeter. So let's welcome Jack Schantz onto the stage. Thank you so much. The other soloist in that last tune was Larry Smith on drum set. Forgot to mention him before. He's going to get our Super Senior Award this year. I say it every time it's funny, every time, at least for me, Our next tune is entitled, and the band played on, it's also going to feature Jack on trumpet, and Eva Bombakaitis on piano, and Andy Kilbride on guitar. And the band played on. Another round of applause for Jack and our other soloists. It's so wonderful that we have wonderful support from our community and wonderful guest artists to come work with our students. What an opportunity. Jack came yesterday and worked during our dress rehearsal that we had after school, and then he came earlier today before this concert, about 6 o'clock, and did an improvisation master class for a lot of our students. So it's been wonderful having him here the last couple days and working with our students. Our next, and you'll hear plenty of them in the next half of the concert. The next piece we're going to play is a lot slower, and it's a classic jazz standard. It's entitled St. James Infirmary. We have 3 featured players, but it really features almost everybody in the band. 3 featured players are Christina Wynn on tenor saxophone, Xavier Thomas on trumpet, and Tavian Holland on trombone. But it also features our rhythm section, which has been recognized by a lot of the people that hear us, different professors and adjudicators throughout the year, as one of the better sections that they've heard among any of the ensembles they listen to. So it's really something wonderful to hear these students play and collaborate together on this beautiful piece of music. St. James Infirmary. Thank you so much. How about that? Let's give them one more round of applause. That's a really challenging tune. One of the nice things as a director is that they're so independent, they've learned these parts so well that you can just sort of step aside and let them do their thing and listen to them collaborate and make music here on the stage. And that's a real joy for me as a director to hear the students at the end of the year here being able to make music at that high of a level. So thank you guys for being able to really rise to the challenge here. Our next tune, we're going to speed it up a little bit, is entitled Just a Little Cha-Cha. Our next piece of music is an original composition by one of the members of the band, Christina Wynn. She is one of the, actually, you know what, I'll let her explain, because I've already talked to her. She's going to do all the introduction of everything here, and she's actually going to direct the tune. So please welcome Christina Wynn, composer.
Hi, everyone. So in the beginning of this year, I spent a lot of time at home or in the hospital. And I tried to find a way to stay connected to my music without being in the jazz ensemble or Heights Symphony. And I started writing a piece earlier in the year, but I didn't really know what it was going to turn out to be. And then I thought of the lead alto player, Corinne, who plays alto in the band mostly, but her principal instrument is flute. So I thought, hey, there really aren't any flute waltzes out there, so let's make one. So the title of this piece is Something Clever About a Waltz. And it features Corinne Nickel on flute and Xavier Thomas on trumpet. Hope you enjoy it.
about that? Just another little factoid too is every year when we go to the Lakeland Jazz Festival, we are very lucky to have a lot of our students that are earning scholarship to Berklee School of Music for the Summer Institute. And this year, Christina gets to go again. She mentioned she was in the hospital at the beginning of the year. Last year, she had some medical issues there and was unable to complete it. So this year, they gave her a full scholarship to attend the whole summer at the Berklee School. And I think this year we had four of our students that were recognized with a scholarship of some sort, either partial or full scholarship to Berklee. So we really have a very fortunate situation here at Heights where we have so many good musicians that we're able to have that many scholarships awarded. Another thing that the jazz band did this year, both the jazz bands went to Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, and we participated in a master class. And I think we have one that I know of, student that's going to be going there next year, Tavian Holland, is going to be an OU Bobcat next year. And in the other band, we have Cameron Sormaz that's going as well. And I think they're going to be roommates as well, too, so, right? So, our next tune is entitled Jazz Me Blues. It's going to feature, again, Christina Wynn on tenor saxophone and Xavier Thomas on trumpet. I hope you enjoy it. One of the other great things about going to OU this year is we were able to work with Kyle Andrews, who's a professor at West Virginia Wesleyan, who happened to be the drummer that when the composer Tom Wallerab wrote it, he was the first victim of Tom Wallerab to learn how to flesh out the rest of the drum parts. So it was great to speak to somebody that actually helped, in a sense, create this arrangement when he was a student at Indiana University as a drummer in Tom Wallerab's band. And I think it was wonderful to be able to have the students interact with a person that had that type of exposure on this exact piece. So it was really helpful to go to that experience and have that experience in OU. Our final piece on this side of the program this evening is Orange Sherbet. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming out, and the Jazz Band 109 will be up next. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. That was Switch in Time, Sammy Nestico tune, recorded by the Count Basie Orchestra. The soloists on that, freshman Luke Manning on trombone, and Ryan Smith on tenor saxophone, senior Ryan Smith. Ryan Wilson, what am I talking about? I know what I'm talking about. Ryan Smith was an alto player at the University of Akron when I was in Jack's band 18 years ago. Old and senile, don't worry about it. Ryan Wilson, my apologies. I'll just flash back 15 years. The next tune we're going to do is a Charlie Mingus song. This is Boogie Stop Shuffle. This is going to feature roughly half the band. On this, we have Sophie Gilson. We have Aviva Klein that'll be playing from our trumpet section. We have, Alex Gululi on tenor saxophone will be on this one. Let's see who else is on this one. Nick Edwards on Barry sax. We'll have drum solo in this from Andy Bell. It's going to open with a bass solo from Ian Nocente. Did I miss anybody? And Jeremy. Yeah, you have two choruses in it. Jeremy Kaufman on piano. Yes, you did. My fault. Jeremy Kaufman from the previous tune, Switching Time. So this one's Boogie Stop Shuffle. Ian's going to open this one up for us. Hope you like it. having a senior evening tonight. I didn't think I was quite there yet. But actually, there's a point where we do feature the whole band, that section at the end where they all have a free improvisation section. But for our next tune, before we go ahead and play the song, I want to take just a minute of time and thank Larry Smith. Larry Smith works with both of the jazz bands on a regular basis. He was performing on the drum set with the first group and as a performer, but he does a lot of coaching with the kids and directing when Mr. Ammon and I aren't around. We kind of rotate between all the bands. And he's such an integral part to what we're doing out here. And I wanted to give him a chance to come out and direct a tune. This next song, I'll let him introduce it. But I'd like to take a minute and thank Larry Smith for all his work. And Larry, stage is yours.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Baker and Mr. Ammon for allowing me to work with all these talented musicians up here. In fact, they are so well rehearsed, I'm going to futilely just wave my arms around right now and pretend like I know what I'm doing. Kevin Abe is the song.
All right, once again, thanks to Larry Smith for all your help. Appreciate it very much. Before we play the next tune, I want to take just a minute and publicly thank Jack for coming out. You heard him, got to hear him with the other band. Jack came out last night and sat down with the kids, and we did some rehearsing on stage here, but he actually offered last night to the kids. He said, hey, if you guys want to come do some improv clinic, I'll come early tonight. So he was 6 o'clock when I walked in the door, sitting in a semicircle with the kids, working with them, and worked right up until the point where I had to actually pull one of the kids out and say, hey, you need to be on stage in about 3 minutes. So, I want to thank Jack for his dedication to the jazz education of our students here at Heights High. Jack is the head of the jazz department at the University of Akron, was one of my professors in graduate school, and was previously the director of the Cleveland Jazz Orchestra. You can hear Jack around town playing with various groups. Last night he was down at Blue Jazz in Akron playing with the Sam Blakesley Big Band, and on Sunday, Andy Bell, our drummer, happened to go to church and see him playing with Paul Ferguson's Jazz Vespers group, and is that Tyler in the front row? I see the shape, but I saw the thumbs up. The other thing is he plays a lot down at like the Palace and doing the touring musicals and shows that come through. So if you check the program, you'll frequently see his name playing those kind of gigs too. It is a real privilege for us and for me to have Jack work with the groups and come out and play for you. I've been listening to Jack play trumpet for many years, even before I was a student, and to me, he's spectacular, and I'm sure you will enjoy more playing from him. This next piece we're going to play is a piece called Kaleidoscope, and this is going to feature Jack on the trumpet. You'll also hear a brief flugelhorn solo from Hannah Gilson in the middle of this. Also on the last tune, I don't think Larry mentioned it, but Hannah Gilson played a trumpet solo, and Ryan played on the Kavanaugh Bay. So without further ado, less talking, Mr. Jack Schantz. We're going to do another one that's going to feature Jack. This is Billy Strayhorn tune. Billy Strayhorn was famously wrote a lot of the Duke Ellington Orchestra music, and this is called Upper Manhattan Medical Group. And once again, this is going to feature our guest soloist, Jack Schantz. once again, round of applause for Jack Schantz. I don't know, he's might be sneaking backstage, but I could listen to him play all night. This next song we're going to play is a kind of Latin influenced tune. It's called Trofeo, and it's going to feature Johnny Quartel on alto saxophone. You're going to hear Joe Keneally on trombone and William Vandenbogert on trumpet. Hope you enjoy this one. Before we play our last number, I'm going to just talk for just a brief minute. First of all, I do want to thank a couple other people that aren't here this evening, but earlier this week we had a gentleman, Mitch Froman, who came in, who played for 25 years with the Tito Puente Band and a number of other Latin ensembles, lives in New York. He was coming through town. He played at Nighttown last night. But I'd like to thank Mitch for coming in and working with the kids on Wednesday a little bit. And he worked with us on that particular song. And about a little over a week ago, we also had an appearance by another local musician, Tony Spicer, who's a tremendous tenor saxophone player. But he was in doing kind of a mouthpiece presentation to some of our students. And I said, hey, you want to stick around and play a little bit with the jazz ensemble? And he said, sure. So he had his horn with him, and he kind of improvised a little bit. And so I'd like to thank both of those guys for giving up their time to come in and working with our students. And it's one of the great privileges I have to be in this community where we can kind of draw talent like that. Nighttown just down the street. And of course we have so many tremendous musicians locally that we can draw on to kind of help fill in all those holes and help us as teachers. So I'm very blessed to be in a position where I have so much help and so many qualified people around. I do want to just remind you, if you didn't notice it in the program, but next Wednesday night at Nighttown here in Cleveland Heights, we are going to be featuring our combos. And next Wednesday, those groups will be the main headlining group at Nighttown. There are 3 combos from Heights High that will be performing this year. And so I'd encourage all of you to come out to Nighttown next Wednesday, get a great meal, hear some great jazz from our students. The cover charge at Nighttown for that is $5, so it's the same as it was this evening. And we'd like to have your support out there at Nighttown next Wednesday for the combos. I'd also like to take just a minute and thank Mr. Ammon and Larry Smith again for all their help with the bands. I also want to take a minute and thank some of our direct people. This is our last public concert for the year where I get to thank some of the people that are important to what we do here. I'd like to thank Jane Samari, who's still kind of the head principal in the building for music. So she does a lot to help promote the music in the schools. And I'd also like to thank Toya Robinson, who was here earlier. I don't know if she's still here, but Toya does a lot. She's the coordinator of gifted education in the district, but also in charge of music. And she has done a lot to kind of fight and help us to maintain such a great program for our kids. So I want to thank both of them this evening. I'd also like to thank somebody sometimes I never forget about him in my mind, but I definitely sometimes forget to mention it on the microphone publicly. But Mr. Keith Newman, who's the head of the stage crew here at Heights, is a tremendous person to have in this district. The amount of time and effort he puts in so that these presentations come off. I can tell you that last night we had at our dress rehearsal, we had problems with our lighting board, and he spent many hours today on the phone and running down to Vincent Lighting so we could get all the lighting presets worked out, so we had a nice presentation for you. So he works tremendously hard behind the scenes, and he is a tremendous asset to our district. And all of the symphonic winds and concert band and concert orchestra and Heights High Symphony, the musical, jazz night, all the vocal performances that are in here from the VMD, the gospel choir, the one-act plays, swim cadets, all of that stuff happens because Keith Newman puts in a tremendous amount of work to make all those things work. So I definitely need to thank Keith. Can I get a hand for Keith again? So before we kind of wrap this up, I just want to thank a few special people tonight. With this group and with the other group, we have had a tremendous number of seniors that have been playing with us for a long time. So seniors here that we've got Cameron Sormaz on trombone. Stand up. It's his first year as ensemble. 2 years ago, he was a trumpet player. I said, dude, I need tuba players. So he learned the tuba for us. This year I said, dude, we need trombone players. You're playing trombone. So has been very helpful at being one of those people we could count on to really contribute to the groups. Christian Simmons on bass trombone. Stay up, guys. Christian, another tuba player. Hey, I need trombone players. Come play bass trombone for us. Ryan Wilson again on tenor saxophone. You've heard from Ryan tonight. Johnny Cortell on alto saxophone. He's going to be leading us. I'm having that senior moment, but Johnny played a jazz saxophone solo that I coached him on in 7th grade, something like 7th grade, Reaching Heights summer camp a few years ago. And actually got to play at the final performance as a chamber ensemble of 1. So Johnny and I go way back. Also back in our trumpet section, if you were here last Friday, you probably heard that Aviva Klein knows how to play a bassoon a lot better than her band director does. But this year I talked her into joining the jazz band. She's been playing trumpet in the marching band for a couple years, and I said, hey, we could use some more trumpets. Come play in the jazz band. So I'd like to thank Aviva back there. And I don't know if any of my other seniors from the other band, are you guys in the back there? We got Noah Gonzalez on bari sax. Noah, you around here? Noah's been with us for 4 years. Let's see, we had Tavian Holland on trombone. Tavian, bass trombone and bass clarinet and bari sax and the kitchen sink and whatever else I throw at him to play. With us new this year on tenor sax, Rayshawn Knight is, Rayshawn's back there, played tenor sax, another senior for us. Let's see, I think that's all of them. Did I hit them all? I think. Yeah, that's it, right? Okay, making sure. But I'd like to thank all the seniors for their time in the. Larry Smith, senior for the 24th or 5th time, something like that. All right, our last tune, Absolutacris. This is a funk chart. This is by Gordon Goodwin. We're going to move Jeremy over to the keyboard here. He's going to play some electric piano for us. Remind me, who's on solos on this? I got to check my program because I'm getting old. Okay, we got Nick Edwards, we got Sophie Gilson, William Vanden Bogart, and Joe Keneally. All right? Okay, Absolutacris. Hope you like this one.
Thank